The 2022 Osun governorship election was held after about 1 month that a similar electoral exercise took place in neighboring Ekiti State. In the wake of that particular one, various civil society and observer groups came out with positions that were not exactly complementary regarding its organization and conduct by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Many of the civil society groups also picked holes in the general behavior of politicians for apparently indulging in all manners of electoral malpractice, especially vote buying and other forms of undue inducement of the electorate. Did anything change in Osun State? Was the scorecard of the civil society movement about the election? We now turn to Samson Itodo, a lawyer and founder of YIAGA Africa, an NGO which aspires to promote democracy in Africa. Good to have you on this Live This Sunday talk show, Samson Itodo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. It's good to be here again.
Thank you very much, Samson. Well, before the election, your group, YIAGA Africa, painted a number of scenarios with regard to logistics, with regard to INEC preparedness, with regard to security, with regard also to vote buying, or what you call the voter inducement. Now, how did those scenarios that your group painted, how did they play out? Were you vindicated, or were you, well, disappointed in a way?
Well, it's a mixed bag. First, to look at the positive, we did highlight the fact that INEC looked sufficiently prepared for the elections. It had engaged in preparatory activities like trainings, like distribution of permanent voters card, like the CVR exercise. It held stakeholder meetings. It was clear that the commission was prepared for this election. And 24 hours before the date of election, the racks activated a night before the election, which led to the early commencement of polls. At YIAGA Africa, with our PVT data, in about 79% of polling stations in Osun, they recorded early arrival of polling officials at 7:30. And because the polling officials arrived early, the voting and accreditation and voting commenced early. So to a large extent, this election also recorded a marked improvement on logistic management on the part of INEC. If you look across also the participation of voters and citizens, whilst the turnout rate is about 42%, it is still sort of high when you look at the number of PVCs collected. If you look at PVCs collected, it's about 54%. So to a large extent, you can say, yes, people showed up, to cast their votes and their ballot for a candidate of their choice. The third, and perhaps also a very disappointing one, was the scenario we painted and our projection around vote buying. And we did say that in the build-up to the election, political actors were involved in inducing voters with livestock, with foodstuff, and with money. And we said that in the election, on election day, there's also going to be cases of vote buying. We saw that happen in yesterday's elections. Yes, good a thing. The ICPC made some arrests. The EFCC also made some arrests. We look forward to the prosecution of these individuals who were arrested performing this egregious act. So on the whole, I would say, and our assessment is, in the Osun elections, democracy won because INEC performed optimally. The voters in Osun were given the opportunity to exercise their franchise in a free, in a credible, in a transparent and inclusive process. And we are very satisfied with the conduct of this election. And INEC's result did fall within the parallel vote tabulation estimated range. And to that extent, we say that the results declared by INEC are a reflection of the vote cast on election day.
Okay, well, Samson, let me ask you, what do you think are the lessons that we can take from this Osun election, particularly in terms of implications for the 2023 general election and how the two major political parties stand in that race? What are the big takeaways for you?
Well, the big takeaways from this particular election is one, that political actors, political parties need to invest in issue-based politics. In the build-up to this election, most of the campaigns were largely driven by attacks by some men of violence, and there was not enough opportunity, for candidates, to engage in constructive debates and also share competitive ideas. I note that IRISE conducted a debate for the candidates, but not all the candidates participated in that debate. And specifically, the PDP candidates didn't participate in that debate. And so we lost the opportunity, to ask difficult questions and for him to also provide a roadmap as to how he wants to achieve, all the targets and the plans of his agenda for the people. So parties need to invest in issue-based politics. The second takeaway from this election is that political parties can no longer function as appendages of oligarchs or organizations led by one single.
Okay, we seem to have lost connection there with Samson Itodo, founder of YIAGA Africa, and who was on the ground in Osun State observing the election. Okay, you are back. Okay. Samson, please go ahead. We've been able to re-establish connection.
Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
No, I was saying the second takeaway is political parties need to invest in internal democracy. You can see the internal wranglings that wrecked, most of the political parties that were involved in this election. And all that was just simply, the discordance in the leadership recruitment. There were individuals who wanted, to hijack the candidate nomination process and not create a level playing field for all. And that led to the exodus that we observed in the two major political parties. And so moving forward, if parties are really concerned and they are committed and they are interested in winning elections, they must learn to manage their internal affairs in line with democratic tenets and principles. The third major takeaway from this election is INEC has demonstrated that it is possible to transmit results electronically. INEC has demonstrated that it can manage its logistics. As we move towards the general elections, INEC is going to be saddled with a huge task.
Hello, Samson Itodo. Well, looks like we lost connection with him again, but we were able to take three big takeaways from him and his assessment of the possible scenarios and the outcomes with regard to the Osun gubernatorial election held yesterday, July 16, 2022. He's back? Okay. Samson, you are back again. If you could just wrap it up on the issue of the takeaways, and then we'll move on.
The takeaways is, first, electoral technology has come to stay. The INEC election results viewing portal is a remarkable and incredible innovation that is deepening the integrity of our process. And so INEC needs to go back, see how it can improve on the IREV as we build towards the 2023 elections. The second is the fact that citizens are asking difficult questions and they are willing to participate, in the general elections. And the best that institutions like security agencies, INEC, and other institutions can do is to provide an opportunity, a platform for citizens to exercise their franchise. And the last critical point is about vote buying, that this menace has the potential of imperiling our democracy. And citizens need to note that you have a political class that wants to continually make us powerless. And so they do everything to buy our votes.
Well, it's freezing again, but I get your point. Thank you very much, Samson Itodo, for joining us on This Is Live, the Sunday Talk Show.